Cancer is a serious problem in the world today that needs to be solved. But since there is no cure, there are thousands upon thousands of people that are struggling with emotional distress due to the fact that they have cancer. Even though that you may not have cancer, you probably know someone who is or was struggling with it. So this problem includes everyone. Well, my credibility is that I've done several different speeches and different papers over this concern. So I feel like that I am well educated over this concern of the emotional distress that one may go through. Also, I've had some family members go through the process of having cancer. First, I'm I'm going to tell you about the emotional problems that some cancer patients are going through and what they might be experiencing. Second, I will tell you about the solutions that need to be taken to help the patients. And lastly, I will describe a world with cancer patients that have no emotional distress. First, I'm going to tell you about some of the emotional difficulties that come from having cancer. There are too many people in the world today with emotional problems because they haven't gotten the help they need during and after their cancer treatments. Cancer patients need help emotionally for what they are going through. The patients doing or going through the treatments are going through so much emotionally that they need help. There are quite a few different negative impacts it has on people. The patients start going crazy and are getting too stressed out because of what they are going through. They also start to go crazy because they think of some very, very bad things that might happen to them. That include nightmares and bad dreams and stuff, which can just correlate over to the next day and just make their days horrible while going underneath their treatments. But now that I've told you about the problems that the patients are going through, now I'm going to tell you about how we are going to fix their emotional problems. We are going to create a stress-free zone for the patients so that they can relax and just enjoy themselves with other people. There will be couches, TVs, and games for everyone to play to forget about what they are going through. This would do a lot for the morale of all the patients that attend the hospital. If the hospitals will allow it, there will also be a section for man's best friend. The local animal shelter can bring some of their dogs so that the patients can play with them, and the animal shelter might be able to give some of their dogs to the patients if they really, really fell in love with them, and if their parents would allow it, of course. It would help the patients forget about the cancer and make them happy. They would also be able to socialize with other people there so that they are not lonely while playing the games. They would also, and with playing with the animals, it might help them feel more at home if they have dogs and cats and other animals at home. One problem that I could see be brought into discussion is that some patients might be allergic to dogs, but those patients would not be allowed to go to that area. But since those patients would not be allowed to go to these rooms, those patients would get their own rooms while with all the same things as the other rooms. Now that I've told you about the patients going through emotional troubles and how they would get help for that issue, I'm going to inform you about all the negative impacts that might come up if we do not solve this problem. Then I'm going to tell you about the positive impacts that are going to have on all those involved. For the negative impacts, the patients are probably going to start going crazy and are going to get too stressed out because of what they're going through. They start to go crazy because they think of all the bad things that might happen to them. They're also very stressed out because they feel like they have no control over their own body. The large-scale fix to the problem is that it would help people all over the world who are dealing with these emotional problems, and they would get the help that they need. The individual fix to the problem would be that it is going to help everyone who has family that has cancer. It will give their family member the help that he or she needs to get through such a long and tough time in their lives. After the patient kicks cancer butt, he or she will be able to come home and not be stressed out over anything and be able to come home and live a normal, stress-free life. In this speech, we talked about emotional distress that the patients are going through, how we are going to fix the patient's problem, and a world without cancer patients with emotional problems. Today, you should call your closest cancer hospital and ask how you can get involved to start a stress-free room for the patients. The cancer patients around the world today that are struggling with emotional stress need your help. So to help them out, please do all you can to help them fix their problem so they don't have to struggle with all that they're going through currently today. And also, if that doesn't work out, you can always just go and visit the patients at the hospital. They would love to talk, and I think it would be great. Thank you.